Welcome back to Psychic Insights Astrology. We have some major events coming up this month in August of 2017. On top of a solar eclipse, we have a lunar eclipse, a meteor shower, and a Grand Trine. On August 21st, 2017, the United States will experience its first total solar eclipse since 1979. It's been quite a while, and before that was like 1918. There's been other solar eclipses across the world, but this one is special for the United States of America, North America in general. It's going to be starting in Oregon, going all the way down to South Carolina, and it's going to be crossing through 14 states. During the solar eclipse, you can expect interesting things to happen, massive awakenings, big changes, and that because it's actually trine with Uranus, and there's also a minor Grand Trine, which I'll talk about later. But first of all, let's go into a little bit of history about solar eclipses. They are known to disrupt the natural order of things and to cause major political upheavals, changes. This particular solar eclipse is special for the United States. If you're in the penumbra of this solar eclipse, you're going to see the sun blackened out, temperatures will drop. It's going to be a life-changing event for those who get to view it. Starting in Lincoln Beach, Oregon, going all the way down to Charleston, South Carolina. It's going to be about 70 miles wide. Those fortunate enough to fall under the total path of totality are in for a real treat. Everyone in North America will be able to see at least a partial solar eclipse. If you're along the path of totality, you'll get to see the entire sun get blacked out. The states that actually will be most affected by this are listed in my blog. You can go to my website to see more information on exactly where the path will be, and I've got some more images there. What exactly is a solar eclipse? It's when the moon passes in between the sun and the earth, and it causes a shadow from the sun casting its light across the moon onto the earth. And if you're in that shadow, it's called the penumbra. Also, it's really important to note that it's not safe to look at the sun any time during this total solar eclipse, except for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds when it's in totality. You can actually look at the sun directly then. Otherwise, don't look at the sun unless you have special filtered glasses or you have a device that allows you to view it safely. For example, one safe experiment that you could do is by cutting a little circle into a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper and holding that piece of cardboard about a foot or two off the ground, casting the shadow. The light will pass through that hole and show you the moon actually crossing over across the sun. You can see that projected onto a sheet or a white piece of paper underneath, but don't look directly at the sun unless you have special filtration devices. It can really harm your eyes. From an astrological perspective, this is huge. There's a lot of things going to be happening. Solar eclipses are known as the Great Awakeners. They are also known for disrupting the natural order of things, disrupting the political order of things. And there's actually quite a history of really interesting things happening around eclipses. Here's just a few. Going back in history to Henry I's death, it actually happened right around the time of a solar eclipse. The day he died, it plunged England into a 19-year civil war, which actually lasted the length of the cycle of that eclipse. On May 22nd, 1453, the evening of a lunar eclipse, Constantinople was under siege, and 7 days later was taken by the Ottomans. And it was an empire that stood for over 1,000 years, but an eclipse disrupted the political order of Constantinople. It's like Istanbul now, right? I can't remember, but anyway. A solar eclipse also appeared the day before the Prime Minister of Australia, Tony Abbott, was deposed from office. That was September 14th, 2015. Malcolm Fraser, Australia's third longest serving prime minister, died on the morning of the previous solar eclipse on March 20th of the same year. The death of Fraser's great adversary, Gough Whitlam, came 3 days before a solar eclipse on October 24th, 2014. But not all eclipses end in tragedy. Some of them actually build empires and grow kingdoms and improve the power of some politicians and rulers. For example, when Jupiter, known as the King of Kings or the King Planet, was on the horizon during Prince William's birth of England, June 21st, 1982, about 9 o'clock in the evening, Jupiter was at its highest in the horizon, so it blessed his birth. And Jupiter reached the top of the skies just as the solar eclipse was happening. On August 9th, 1999, Vladimir Putin was appointed Prime Minister of Russia, and he became president by the end of that year. And a little United States history for you. United States President Bill Clinton actually escaped impeachment right around the time of the lunar eclipse of Saros 140. And he was acquitted of those charges on February 12th, 1999. And since the United States is going to be blessed by this year's solar eclipse on August 21st, I think it's interesting to note that Mars and Regulus was on the horizon during the birth of Donald Trump. Regulus is actually going to be in this eclipse as well. And those energies may actually enhance Donald Trump's presidency. I know there's a lot of different astrologers share some different opinions about this topic, but if you're born with a positive aspect and that aspect returns to you in your life, it continues to bless you. So in this case, it might actually help Donald Trump and his initiatives. Whether you're a fan of him or not, he's probably not a foe you want to face during this time. Also with this solar eclipse, there's going to be a trine with Uranus. Uranus is known as the planet of the Great Awakenings or the Great Awakener, and so we're going to see some massive awakenings, hopefully on a major spiritual scale for this country. People will be waking up. And Uranus, combined with that new moon, and that solar eclipse actually sits conjunct with this new moon, is going to bring those energies of Regulus out quite a bit. So some life-changing energy will be there. You're going to have you may see some drive and ambition and courage brought into your life by Regulus, which is the heart of the lion. It sits in Leo. Uranus will intensify self-awareness, bring personal revelations, and major changes into your life. It's really important to look in your birth chart to see where Uranus sits, or in the case for this year, maybe your solar return chart to see exactly what area of life will be affected the most by Uranus for you during this solar eclipse. In addition to the solar eclipse on August 21st, on the 7th of this month, we're going to have a lunar eclipse, and that actually opens the window to the completion of an eclipse cycle that ends January 31st with another lunar eclipse. The solar eclipse will give you a 6-month period of major change. Now, normally new moons mean change, and when you embrace the energy of a new moon, you have about 4 or 4.5 weeks to implement a change in your life. But this time you're going to have about 6 months, so you can expect some big changes, and those changes will take about 6 months to actually fully manifest. So if you really grab hold of these energies, you'll be able to manifest the changes and the desires that you want in your life to make your life better. In addition to the eclipse, there's also a minor Grand Trine, which includes Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. It's really important to try and avoid using these energies negatively. For example, Mars has a tendency to be despotic and pushy and aggressive, but it's also the planet of energy and vitality. So if you take those energies of Mars and apply them properly in your life, it'll give you the drive to change and the energy to want to make changes in your life. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and when it's used in its negative energies, has a tendency to be greedy and given to, selfishness. But when those energies are used positively, will expand whatever you do. So if you'd like to make major changes in your life, Jupiter will bless those changes by giving you the opportunities you need, the resources you need to change or to implement those changes in your life, and also the expansiveness to see the things you need to see in order to accept those changes. Saturn is known as Father Time, and Saturn has a tendency to make things go too fast or too slow. So when these energies of Saturn are applied properly, you would be good to make schedules and follow those schedules carefully to make sure that you're meeting your goals on time. Otherwise, Saturn might make you miss appointments or fall out of your regular routines, and this could really affect your ability to make those positive changes in your life. And then Regulus on top of that will add enthusiasm and courage to be able to follow through with your goals and to make the changes that otherwise might be really scary for you. So take all those energies of all these planets, this Grand Trine and Uranus that's going to make the changes. Take the energies of all the other planets that are aspecting this solar eclipse to implement those changes in positive ways. And I can guarantee you that if you use the negative energies of the planets, you will fail. So use the positive sides of these planets and let them help you. Let them help you make the changes you want to in your life. This is a really great time to become a new you. In addition to the solar eclipse, the new moon, the lunar eclipse, You're also going to get to see on August 11th and 12th the Perseids Meteor Shower. It's the best and brightest meteor shower of the year. So if you can get a chance to go outside at midnight, look at those stars. This meteor shower is produced by the comet Swift-Tuttle, and it comes around about once a year. So it's not really a new thing, but combined with all these other energies and things going on, it's just kind of like an additional boost for you to make a wish upon those stars, that you know, make wishes and make goals and take that courage and enthusiasm and move forward. This particular eclipse is going to pass through 3 major astrological houses as it crosses over North America. It begins in the 11th house, which is the house of friends, social groups, the collective masses. It also rules Congress. So there may be some new things put on the table at Congress, with Congress during this time. And then it moves into the 10th house, which is the house of careers. And you know, your reputation, authority figures, the president. There may be some new initiatives laid out by the president during this time that are successful for him. So whether you're in agreement or not, they're going to happen. You might even see some major changes in corporate structures, maybe some major layoffs in companies that are not ready for these changes, or some structural changes that will actually provide new jobs for people. So be on the lookout for major changes in houses of careers, whether that be major corporate changes or in your own career. This is a good time to start a new career or to try a new job that you've always been wanting to try. And then finally, it finishes up in the 9th house, which rules higher education, philosophy, the courts, legal matters, shipping and transport, ethical issues, religion. So if you're going to court during this time and you have a favorable aspect in your chart for these planets, it might be a good time to win a legal battle. This also might be a really good time to start a course in school that maybe you were intimidated by before. It'll give you the courage to get through it and the ambition to fulfill those educational aspirations that you have. I think the major theme of this eclipse is going to be mass awakenings, whether that be on a grand scale for humanity, people coming together. You might see some social or political upheavals, new initiatives by the president, possible massive layoffs or structural changes of major corporations, or other matters connected to the houses which this solar eclipse passes through. On a personal level, you can definitely take the powers and the energies of this solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, period of 6 months to make changes that are lasting in your life, positive changes. For more information about these events, visit my blog. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Desiree Fultz. See you next time.